Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Facebook land, YouTube land. Good afternoon. Today is February 10th, 2001, and this is the Office Hours with Lanora series. So thank you for joining me on today. I wanted to make sure that you remember or you knew that Office Hours with Lanora is how I pay or make a special tribute to that similar relationship that a student has with their professor to help them in a specific class, in this case being real estate. So the series of Office Hours with Lanora does three things, or attempts to do three things. The first one is to help those that have expressed an interest in real estate learn about those options. Secondly, for those that have started their journey into real estate and may be taking a pre-licensing course right now, help them to pass their pre-licensing course as well as that state and national examination on the first attempt. And third and final, for those that have already began the journey, passed the test in the industry, learn how to stay in the industry working as a real estate professional. I think I'm knocking my desk and making the camera jump, so I apologize for that. Today's subject is, so you want to become a real estate managing broker. It's that time of the year, people. It's February, so this is the time of the year that I often see a ton of brokers who have decided, hey, it's been 2 years for me. I'm approaching that deadline, or I've already reached the 2-year mark of my broker anniversary, meaning that they've had their license as a broker for 2 years, and now they're considering maybe starting their own real estate office or managing other brokers and leasing, residential leasing agents. So they might want to venture over into the managing broker land. For that, you do need a different license type. So if someone has been working actively representing buyers and sellers and maybe those that are seeking to lease any type of or real estate, whether it be residential, commercial, industrial, and they've been operating in that form as a licensed broker for a minimum of 2 years actively licensed, that person can start a managing broker course. The managing broker course is 45 additional hours. So you have, some people start at the leasing agent course, which is 15 hours, and then they may venture and move into the broker course, which is 75 hours. And then that same student could eventually come back and then begin the pursuit of taking the managing broker, which is another 45 hours. So to do that, yes, you have to take all of those hours, but you don't have to start with the leasing agent, so that I'm not confusing anyone. You can definitely start with the broker course, because I know the governor and IDFPR, we all know that acronym stands for the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulations, changed the rules. No longer do you have to be 21 years old to start a broker course. You can be a minimum of 18. You do have to be a minimum of 20 years old to begin a managing broker course. So 20 years old minimum, high school diploma or a GED, be of good moral character, have your broker license, and let that license be, I like the term seasoned, let that license be active for a minimum of 2 years, then you're ready for the managing broker course, okay? So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this managing broker course. And what is a managing broker? What do they do, Lanora? How do I know that might be something I'm considering? Consider this. If you walk into any real estate office, not many of us are walking on a day like this, but if you call any real estate office and you ask to speak to the head of that office, that's going to be a managing broker. The managing broker runs the day-to-day activities of that office. He or she is responsible for the administrative support team. They're responsible for all the licensees, whether it be someone that is a residential leasing agent, someone that's a broker, or maybe even other people in that office that are licensed as a managing broker but don't work or serve in that scope for that office. There is a designated managing broker for each real estate office. So that person is the go-to. They're the manager. They keep the operations of the office going, as well as protecting the name of that business and monitoring, supervising, and ensuring that the licensees up under them are doing the correct thing. Okay? What you can expect from a managing broker course, and I will break it down in the 45 hours to show you where that 45 hours is going and what will be taught. The first 30 hours of the course will center around dispute resolutions, recruitment, the marketing and advertising for that business, that office, and ensuring that you're staying compliant. You're going to also look at transaction supervision. So those files that the brokers and leasing agents, after working with their clients, are bringing back, ultimately the managing broker for that office is signing off on all of that. So they're making sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, that nothing is missing, that no litigation can come from one of those transactions and expose the company to risk. They're the gatekeeper for all of that, because not only is that office, the license for the office, the broker's license or the leasing agent's license, as well as that managing broker's license can be on the line. So they're going to check and do their checks and balances to make sure everything is right. In terms of compliance to like fair housing and things of that nature, to make sure that that office is always compliant, making sure that the licensees are compliant with membership dues so that they can remain on the office roster, as well as to make sure that they are abiding by all of the industry rules and regulations. That first 30 hours will cover a lot of that. Well, all of that I just mentioned, plus some. Let me see if I missed anything. Well, company policies. Let's just sum it up as that. That first 30 hours, students are covering all of that materials to ensure that they are preparing themselves for that scope of work, as well as for the licensing exam. Okay. The first 30 hours in the course can either be taken in a classroom option, webinar option, online with the student working independently without the instructor, or via self-study. Now, we all know that we're still in a pandemic. So for the Realtors Real Estate School, we are not offering the managing broker or any other course for that matter through the end of April in a classroom option. So that leaves us with the other three: webinar, online, or self-study. Because I know, because a little birdie just whispered in my ear, that a managing broker course always happens at the Realtors Real Estate School in February. For anyone considering taking this type of course, I'm going to strongly advise, recommend, suggest, whatever word you want to use, that you join that week-long class. The option to join the class to complete the first 30 hours, of course you can do that. If you take the course, start that first 30 hours, maybe a little more in advance of February, then you might want to consider an online or self-study option. But since we're so close, my preference is that you take that 1 week class with us, get it all done, and then the next step is for you to move on to licensing. Can you start the first 30 hours and wait to take that final 15 hours? Yes, you can. But we don't offer that final 15 hours every month. The next time that you would be able to take it, if you don't take it in February, would be May. So do you see why I want to emphasize the importance of taking that week-long class? What is the final 15 hours, Lenora, that you speak of? Well, that would be part 2 of the course. That final 15 hours is an interactive portion that's the managing broker potential licensees can take to complete the required 45 hours per the state. Now, that 15-hour course, quite similar to the broker one, is interactive. So we're going to present scenarios. and it'll be scenario based. And we're going to present those scenarios in such a way to review what happened in the first 30 hours to make sure that you're retaining that information, and how to show how it's applicable in an interactive scenario-based settings. Areas that we're going to cover in that 15 hours would be internet and social media issues, because that's huge for our world and for our industry right now. So you got to make sure that, because now that you eventually becoming the managing broker, you don't want to have a rogue licensee out there just posting whatever they want, saying whatever they want. They're not disclosing properly that they work or are affiliated with an office, and under the umbrella of that office, they're just saying what they want to do. Blind ads, we learned that in the broker course. Can't do that. And ultimately that could subject and expose the company, that managing broker, the licensees on both sides, broker, managing broker, to risk. So the goal and the job of the managing broker, number one, is to eliminate risk or keep it as minimal as possible. We're going to also talk about confidentiality in that final 15 hours, because again, we can't have a licensee over here exposing confidential information about clients that are under the umbrella of that office. So if I'm in a transaction, hypothetically, and a broker from another office is, we're in a transaction, they might represent the seller, I represent the buyer, whatever the case may be. If I tell them all of the advantages or all of the credible information about my client, I've exposed my client in such a way that I might not be able to negotiate on their best behalf. So my sponsoring broker, aka, or my managing broker, might say, Lanora, you can't say this. You can't do this. You've got to make sure you provide this disclosure. I want it to be written on this contract per the office protocol. They're going to be the one to kind of lead that office based on the paperwork and based on the rules and regulations. So that's more so what the final 15 hours. We'll also visit in that final 15 hours, which might be something that's going to be really hot to this industry in the next few months. Short sales and foreclosures. The managing brokers of those offices will handle those as well, and may pass those leads around to other brokers in the office. So this 45 hours is chalked with a boatload of management level specific topics that have to be dealt with to protect the office, all the licensees, and that managing broker, and the company as a whole. That's what you're going to be learning about in the managing broker course. So 45 additional hours. I don't want anybody saying, oh, we got to go back to school. We got to go back to school. Education is ongoing in real estate. So if you're not used to it by now, get used to it, because you will be taking more continuing education, post-licensing, designations, certifications, all of that through your coursework as a real estate professional. Now, I just hinted about something, and that was in reference to a designation. Did you know, and if you didn't, I'm here to tell you, that this 45-hour managing broker pre-licensing course actually completes step number 1 for your GRI designation. And that's a Graduate Realtor Institute designation. That's like the top of the top type of designation that you can get in this real estate industry. So if you're in the pathway of earning more education, being actually more skill sets as well as a managing broker, looking more for that professionalism, because now you're managing others. So you've taken your license, if you started as a leasing agent, from the rental market, working towards becoming a broker, helping others buy and sell, now working towards earning a license as a managing broker, ultimately managing all of these other types of licensees. This is where you want to be. So why don't you consider joining us for the week of February 22nd If you are currently a broker who has had an active license in good standings, for a minimum of 2 years. Now, let's say that your license anniversary, you don't know what that is. Give me a call or email me. I can look that up for you really quickly so that I can tell you, hey, this is where you are. Maybe, and I've done this with other students who's, let's say that their license would be turning 2 years old. Their broker's license would be turning 2 years old in August. I will always recommend that that student wait to take the week-long class in August for the Managing Broker course versus starting now, unless they are considering starting maybe an online course, because you can pace yourself over 6 months to do it that way. The reason why I would tell that student to wait until August, if their broker's license won't be 2 years until August, because I want you to put yourself in the best position to pass this type of exam on a first attempt. So why study today? Hold all of that information over the course of the next 6 months and perhaps, get busy in the industry representing clients and start forgetting the information. I'd rather you wait, take the week-long class or webinar, get it out of the way, be eligible to take your licensing exam, and go in and slam dunk this thing on the first attempt. So if you agree with me, take into consideration this class that's starting February 22nd. For those that are a CAR member, there is a member rate for this course as well as a non-member rate. You can definitely give me a call at 312-214-5513, or you can email me at ltolliver@chicagorealtor.com. And of course, I'll put all of my contact information in the heading for the post. I want to thank you guys again, and ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on this Office Hours with Lanora episode. I look forward to joining you, I think, in about 2 more weeks, and we'll be talking about another topic related to real estate. But until then, you all continue to be safe. I'm not on my soapbox, but whatever you can do to lessen the curve and keep yourself and your family and friends safe, do that. If I can do anything to help you with your journey in real estate, reach out. But I'll be talking to you real soon. Don't forget to like, share, comment. If you have questions, I'll read those in a few minutes and respond to those. But I appreciate you joining me on today. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.